The first two dibros, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am the creator, and Lo yeh lecha elohem achayim, you shouldn't have any other gods, you shouldn't have any other forces, you shouldn't have any other things that are more important to you than your spirit, than the spiritual. So these two, they heard directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it says, how did they come up with this request? Didn't they just hear that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I'm it, there's nothing else. And then he said, Lo yeh lecha elohem achayim, you shouldn't have any images, you shouldn't have any concepts. Obviously, you shouldn't have any people. You shouldn't have anything that stands between you and your connection to life. You can't rely on anything for this connection. There's no way that they didn't understand what he was saying. How can they come after such two dibros and say, Daber atimon, we want to listen to Moshe? Didn't they understand what was being said? Didn't they understand the message? You're not allowed to rely on anything else. Your answer is only directly from the source. There is nothing else. There could be nothing else that will help you. Everything is just the face of the source. Everything is a face of the same intelligence that created you. So where are you looking? Where are you going to go search? Did the one that created Moshe is not the same one that created the rest of you? Through their saying, we don't want to hear directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have to hear through Moshe, and then by listening to Moshe as Moshe and not realizing that Moshe is the messenger from beyond, that Moshe is not the one that they should be worshipping, so they lost access to the purity of the original message. And then evil can come in already. If we rely on anything else, if we rely on any force, on any power, on any person, on anything, that thing, that symbol, is going to cause us a lot of damage as we try to protect it, as we try to take life from something that's impermanent, from something that cannot give us security, for something that cannot go with us to where we need it. It's only the undefined, the infinite, the source of all, that goes with us wherever we go. When a person realizes a certain truth, it means that he's exposing himself to reality. And when these people exposed themselves to reality that was too much for them, they wanted suddenly to hear it through somebody else. And that meant that the message is now not going to be delivered fully the way that it was intended to be delivered. And once they didn't receive the message fully, it means that now it's possible for something to go wrong. Now they don't really get the principles all the way to the core. Their principles are based on a tiny bit of relying on somebody else, on believing what they're being told. And in that area, they might err. And in that area, they might make a mistake. And that's exactly what happened, that because they heard it through Moshe, so now a tiny bit of their belief was based on the fact that Moshe was saying it. They understood, and it was wisdom, and they knew how to live it, and everything was fine. But there was a little bit of idol worship in there because it was through Moshe. It was through somebody else explaining it, and that was the experience. It wasn't direct. It wasn't the reliance that a person is supposed to have only on himself, not on a teacher, not on a messenger, not even on a decipher. Only on the Creator, on the purity of the undefined. Because only from there did he receive everything. He didn't receive everything from anywhere else. He received it directly from the undefined, and with the undefined is the relationship that we're trying to understand. Meaning, if somebody identifies the Creator correctly within creation, then he will logically understand all the mitzvahs that they need to be the way that they are. Not in their physical manifestation of how we do the mitzvahs today, but in the world of concept, in the world of perception. Why did we need some form of protection? Why did we need this information to be given over? In order to allow life to be the way that it needed to be. So all the 630 mitzvahs will be understood if we understand the 10 principles, which are the underlying principles of what a human being needs to know to understand himself. Because these principles are involved in creation on every level. So when we understand these principles correctly, we can do no wrong. Because a human being doesn't have an interest in doing wrong. A human being only does wrong when he misunderstands, when he doesn't realize truth, when he doesn't know in what way is he going to find peace. So then he gets into more and more conflict as he tries to create peace for himself. But when a person understands the principles of life appropriately, then he won't err, he won't make a mistake. His nature was designed correctly. His nature works with the proper information and never goes wrong.